Hi everyone, Sandra Ganley back here for another episode of the Country Chat podcast. And here in front of me on the screen, I have Olivia Douglas. Olivia, how are you?
I'm good, Sandra. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
No problem, delighted to have you. Great to be having all these chats. I tell you, I'm having a great time. I'm meeting someone every day for these chats, and it's
Well,
lovely just socializing.
well, as I just said, today was the first. I'm here in the hoodie, but it was great to actually put on a small bit of makeup.
Nice to have you here on the podcast. So, how have things been? It's been a bit quiet, obviously, but you're still tipping away doing little bits and bobs here and there.
Look, at things are so strange, Sandra. I mean, I was living out of the car there for so long. As Daddy used to say to me, the wardrobe was there in the back of the car. But look at what can we do? We're all in the same boat, you know. But I am trying to keep going. I'm doing a little bit of recording because I started my third album just actually last March when things started to go belly up. But I'm tipping away at that, so it's keeping me busy, and I'm still at least I have a bit more time to try and pick more songs for it and that, you know. So
Absolutely, because normally you'd probably not that you'd rush through it, but you'd kind you'd have a set date in mind or something like that. Whereas
yeah.
now you probably have more time to really think about the songs and look into the production behind them.
Exactly. And I was definitely one rushing everything, lastminute.com. And you know what? I'll probably be the same this time around, even though all the time I have. But there's times I've picked songs for albums the night before and I was going in recording. But anyway, look at we got there, the albums are done and hopefully they're all right.
Lovely. And have you an idea of when you're going to bring that out, or are you saving it for another while?
I will save it for another while. It'll be next year anyway. Definitely not. You know, I had hoped to kind of bring it out at the end of 2020 there, but look, it will even this year now. I don't know. I'll probably hold off until next year, to be honest.
But at least the work it's all done now, and at least you have the luxury of deciding when you think, and you can decide the night before if you want.
Yeah, that'll suit me anyway. Yeah, when things come back, I'd like to have things back a little bit and hopefully be out gigging when I do bring it out, you know.
Yeah, very good. Because the two kind of go hand in hand, I suppose. You'd be so used to the album launches and all that kind of thing. So you want
Yeah,
that
and
to
I
go.
was lucky enough to have actually one of them was it was cancelled actually the time of with the bad snow at the time, but I had really good launch, two really good launches in the well in Moat, and you know, it'd be nice to have another one, so I will wait.
You will, absolutely. We'll be delighted to be there for that, please God. So yeah, so you were working away on that last year. And I suppose coming into this year, the new project on the scene is Trudy Lawler's new project, which is you're involved in that, I think, are you?
Yeah, I am. I was actually I have to ring somebody now this evening actually in Scotland again. I was actually talking to a couple over in Glasgow last night, and it was totally a surprise. And oh my God, like, do you know what? It really genuinely gave me such a lift coming off the phone and realizing you're after making these people so happy. And you know, fair play to Trudy and Trudy Lawler and Billy Morrissey. It really is it's a great thing to do because people are finding it tough and they're not out, they're not talking to people. So, as I say, it's great to give us the lift as well and have the chat with somebody. And there's a good few kids actually that I had to ring, which was just so nice as well. Yeah. So,
That's lovely. And I suppose the first thought is, oh, it's lovely that these people will get a phone call. But when you actually delve into it more, it's actually lovely for the artists themselves because it gives you a feel good factor and you're mixing with your fans in a different way. Because I suppose the only way you've been mixing is on social media, but now you're mixing with them with the voice, which is great for you as well. Like it's so beneficial in that sense.
oh, it is. It's after working both ways. And to think that something as small as a phone call can really brighten up somebody's day is just unreal. I mean, especially when it's a surprise, then I think as well, these people were shocked last night, like, so it was great.
Probably nice to kind of have a list every day. Well, I have to ring them three people now today. It's something nice to look forward to as well.
It is. It's something to work towards because we've you know, you're going around here and you're thinking, what am I going to do next? But look, I'm looking forward to, as I say now, I'm going to ring this other couple now this evening, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh no, it's a great idea, and there's so many artists involved, and that's great to hear. The kids are looking for you as well. You're in demand.
Well, it is. You know, it's nice to hear that the kids are. Look, I think the Hugger Two song, I think, is what I think they had been listened to. But yeah, because the first little boy I rang, they were actually, whether it was on the Spotlight TV or whether it was on YouTube, I don't know which it was, but when I rang, that's what they were listening to a hugger to. And sure, he was absolutely delighted, and it was great, you know.
Yeah, oh, it's lovely. No, it's an absolutely great idea. And I know and most of the people on the podcast are involved in it. So I'm kind of chatting about it all the time, which is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another little project that you're involved in. And it's great to have these projects because I suppose obviously like everyone, it's kind of hard to figure out what you're going to do and what have you been doing? I mean, obviously, you know, you have time to chill and look after yourself and kind of take a step back, but then as well you were working on your album. But what else have you kind of been at, or have you found it challenging? I mean, obviously I know everyone's finding it hard, but has anything in particular really got to you, or have you really enjoyed any part of this whole this year, I should say?
Yeah. Well, you know, Sandra, actually, well, first, it's great to be in bed every night around 10 o'clock anyway. I'm definitely getting enough sleep now anyway. But look, it has been challenging, and as I said there at the start, it is such a difference to being on the road maybe six, and I was on the road, so I was doing 5, 6 nights a week, sometimes 7 nights a week. I was lucky enough to be very, very busy. And obviously, I miss all that. I miss getting into the car, going on the journeys. You could be south, you could be north, wherever you are. Do you know what I mean? But I the other side to it is I'm at home with mommy and daddy, and you know what? I'll always cherish that time that I'm after getting now. Do you know? There's days I'd say that we probably all want to kill each other, like, but I have, because we've a pub here in Ferban in County Offaly, so that's been closed as well. So we've kind of been hit both ways, and I've no brothers or sisters. So so the three of us are here, but you know what, they are enjoying the time as well, even though they miss the banter, they miss the people coming in for the music every weekend. But I have enjoyed my time, but at the same time, I'll obviously really look forward to getting back to it. I miss talking to people as well as the gigs, getting up on stage. I miss going in the van with the lads even to over to Scotland, and you look at, you miss it all, but sure, everybody is the same, and we have to sit tight for the moment and stay safe and do what we have to do, isn't that it?
That's it, absolutely. And I mean, you were doing it full time, weren't you? Because I know some singers would have had other jobs and other things going on, but it was pretty much full time for you, wasn't it?
It was full time, but you know, it's funny, I had a year taken out of work, we'll say last January 2020. I had emailed back, I had a year taken out at that January, and I emailed back and I said that I wouldn't be returning to work. And then in March, all this happened. Little did we know in January. But look at what's meant for you won't pass either. I suppose I wasn't meant to go back, kind of thing. But I loved that, and I was working in a nursing home, accounts in a nursing home. Yeah. So you know, it was probably bad timing, you know, but in saying that, in the summer I went back up, and it was lovely to be able to play. We played outside, obviously we couldn't go in, you know, but it was lovely to be able to go back up and play for them again. But that certainly was bad timing, you know. But at the time, I couldn't keep it going. I had to leave it because I was literally going into work, and I'd nearly be taking off the makeup from the night before, and that's the truth, like, because I was that late coming home that you just fall into the bed. And Mum was like, I'd be getting up here at 10 to 9, I'd be in work at 9 o'clock. Disaster. So you couldn't keep doing that. I was just wrecked going into work, you know. So
and long term as well, you know, it would have you could, I mean, you were doing it,
yeah,
but you couldn't
yeah.
keep it up. Jesus,
You
that's
couldn't
mad
keep
going.
it up.
No.
And then like that, then you were looking for days off because there was such a thing to be done, and you don't want to be doing that. You're either in it or you're not, you know. And coming towards the end, I just had to make a decision. So just probably a little bit bad timing, but look at anyway.
But look, but I suppose the thing there is you took that leap and you said, no, I'm going to go just full steam ahead now with the music, and you done that. And I think that's nearly the most positive part of it, was you said, no, I'm going for it now, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's funny. I nearly had to be pushed out the door. The girl that was working with me in account, she was like, Olivia, you can't keep doing this. And I didn't want to leave. I mean, the end of the day, it was only 2 minutes up the road from me here. I couldn't have had anything handier, a 9 to 5 job, and I loved it. I loved the interaction with the residents as well, you know. So I'm sure they're really missing. It's so hard for them in the nursing homes now too. Like,
Absolutely. But I'm sure when you went down during the summer to sing a few songs, it definitely brightened them up. And I know that was happening in a number of nursing homes, well, not
yeah,
in them, but outside them
yeah.
across the
Mm.
country. And it's, lovely, another way of managing to share the love
Yeah, and at least,
through the social distancing.
well, that's it. And we had the weather, thankfully, at the time. So hopefully we'll see what this summer holds. We might be able to actually get in to play for them. But anyway.
Please God, please God. So you've been practicing the accordion while you've been at home, have you? Not that you need any
Oh,
practice.
oh, well, I'll tell you, you do get rusty when you're not playing. I was never really Sandra, I was never one for kind of sitting at home on my own practicing, unless I kind of had a flower or something coming up. What I loved was the sessions, all right, and that's as good as practice as anything. But no, I should have been doing more practice on the accordion. But it's my goal anyway. I want to try and learn a few more tunes before I go back out and kind of from the trad scene and that. So I'm going to get started on that now.
Good. At what age were you when you started playing the accordion?
I was 6. So my first instrument was the tin whistle. Like a lot of kids going to school or whatever, they start off tin whistle in the school. So that was my first instrument. And actually not long ago, um, my mammy was talking to one of the teachers and she was just saying, sure, Olivia could never have done anything else bar the music. She says she remembers one of the days everyone else was playing. I was only a little, probably maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 at the time. Everyone else was playing anyway, doing Ring a Ring a Rosie or whatever. And sure, Olivia was walking around the school on her own playing a tin whistle outside. And everybody else over playing. But anyway, yeah, so that was my first instrument. And then I went on to the button accordion. So my first music teacher was Catherine Middleton, because before we moved to Brabant, we lived in just outside Roscrea, County Tipperary. So that's where my music lesson started. So yeah, I haven't looked back since, and sure, look, I was taken all over the country from all Ireland and all the flas and feshes, and they were the best to crack. They were really, really, really good days.
Yeah, I'd be the same as you now. I'd be the trad and the country scene because I would have grown up going to the flas and
Right.
all the All Irelands. My sister would have been the more competitive one. She would have danced in the Shannos, and we'd have gone to the Oireachtas as well. So, like, I'm missing both of them sides. And they're
Yeah.
very different, but then at the same time, there's a lot of similarities. But I love being part of the two of them because there's just you can't beat the flas, like, and the All Irelands, and they're just brilliant. You probably haven't been to many, have you, in the last few years if you were gigging or that?
No, yeah, I haven't been. I've missed the All Irelands now probably for the last 4 or 5 years. And I used to love actually going in the Cayley band competitions. Used to be absolutely class. And actually, yeah, and I remember I was in the under 18 Cayley band, Lonella Cayley band here which was Tullamore. We're all kind of from Tullamore, that area, and we came second in the All Ireland. But that was yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. They really were the good days. But I spent a lot of years before I actually went singing. I played in Hawk's Pub in Banagher, for anybody listening that might know. It's a great tourist pub on the Shannon. And I used to sit in the corner there, shy as anything, wouldn't have to talk to anybody, wouldn't have to do anything, only play the accordion. And there was obviously loads of musicians there as well. But they were, when I think back on that as well, Wednesday night in the summer would be like a Saturday night. The place would be hopping. And it's sad to see that they're all gone. But look, please God, they'll be back.
Absolutely. And did you used to sing in the flas as well, or did you just play?
No.
Isn't that mad? Like, isn't it just? It's so funny.
Yeah, but sure, there's people that they'd be commenting on my face, but they could be Germans. That was it was, as I said, it was a tourist pub, and I've had so many people saying we never knew you sang, because I never sang a song in that pub, and I played in there for years. And then I brought out an album, and everybody kind of presumed this must be the accordion. No, it was singing, and it was just I was all kind of done so quick. But that's the way I am. I just decide something, and then I'll do it.
It just fell into place, kind of, and that was it. You were singing.
Yeah. Well, look, I always sang here. Sorry, not stopping you, but I always did sing in my mommy and daddy's pub, kind of. But like that, nobody outside the town kind of knew I sang, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, if there was a party going, there was no bother singing at 3 or 4 in the morning.
You're dead right. So was it kind of Glorchira that kind of kicked everything off on a larger scale for you, or how I know you were in Glorchira in 2016, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2016. Yeah. Yeah, that was the start of the singing for me, definitely. So I went on Glortira, and like I had never been singing, only done an odd gig in Daddy's pub. But that was the start of it. I sent in a video. I actually sang at a friend of mine's launch, Carmen McLaughlin. That was in Roscommon, Tulsk, I think it was at the time. And there was a video of that night. And my cousin and Mammy and Daddy just said, why don't you send in that video into Glortira, see what happens? So I actually done it to just keep them happy, to be honest, because I never thought I'd even even listen to it, never mind anything else. But anyway, got a call back, and they said a lady had me picked, and I was trying to think, because usually it's kind of all male mentors in it. So I was like, who is this, whatever. So then they rang me back to confirm the whole thing, and it was Sandy Kelly. And sure, then I was on the phone to Sandy Kelly. I couldn't believe any of this was happening, you know, from growing up to listening to Sandy, and now she's such a good friend, like. But that is definitely where it all started for the singing for me anyway.
Yeah, and of course it's still going on now, and it's on at the moment. So it just shows how long it's running for, and it's most people that I've had on the podcast so far, or that are lined up, have been on it. I think it's kind of like you have to go on Glorchira, and then you're
Yeah.
off.
yeah, no, it was a great stepping stone. I mean, if I didn't do Glortira, I probably wouldn't have, I don't know what way I would have went about the singing, you know. But it's really a great stepping stone. And you know, it's great that it is going ahead now, that we actually have it there every Tuesday night. It's grand to tune into it, you know.
Absolutely.
So
it's something to keep
yeah.
especially for those, you know, people at home, the people that would have been going to the concerts and the dances. It's nice for them to still feel, you know, part of it all and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It's you know, it gives, as I say, like I was going up on the stage now not having a clue, hadn't hardly sang in front of the crowd and everything. And then I was landed up on TG4, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It was brilliant. It was great. You know, it gave me a bit of confidence and everything, I suppose. You know,
most people that I've interviewed that have been on it, they all say they had no experience, they didn't know what they were doing, and they hadn't been in front of a camera. Most, you know, there's a lot of similarities there, and then you look at it and you wouldn't know any different. Like it's funny how you would think, you know, people just hop up and off you go, but there's a lot more behind that, you know, behind the person.
Oh, there is, like, but no, it's absolutely great experience, and I would, you know, anybody that would be thinking of going on it, definitely go for it, because it can only do you good anyway, you know.
Yeah, and you've about 7 months now to be getting your song ready, because this won't be the audition or
Exactly.
they won't be looking for anyone out until about August, so you have loads of time to get your audition. So yeah, that's really 5 years ago for you, isn't it? Yeah, 4.5.
Because the memories were coming up on Facebook. Yeah, it's hard to believe where that 5 years has gone. It's
and
mad.
who else was in it that year with you?
Who else was in it? Carrie Fearon, Pamela Gilmartin. Who else? Gavin McAloon won it. I can't think who else was in it. Aidan Quinn, Philomena's son.
Oh yeah,
Philomena Begley's son. Yeah. So so it was really great crack. Like, you know, going, a busload came from the. Now I didn't last too long in it. Now, mind you, I was gone in this 2 weeks into the live shows. But anyway, at the start of it, like, there was buses coming down from the pub and everything. Sure, it was great. It was really good.
No, it's a great, and so many, you know, obviously there's it's 6. Yeah, 6. So like every year, that's so many different singers, and even when you list out there who was in your year, you can go, yeah, like they're all still gigging away, and you know the names, like, which is great, you know. So that's lovely as well. And of course, you have your TV show as well. You're Not a Stranger to Presenting.
Actually, that's finished for the moment, Sandra.
Well, I've stopped filming too. I'm not filming either, so you're not alone. But you are no stranger to presenting. You're well used to it.
Oh, I don't know about that now, but anyway, look at sure again, that was a lovely way to keep especially across the seas, the people in the UK and Scotland really that's they're really tuned into it. You'd always be going over and they'd say, "Oh, I love your TV show," and it's and you'd be thinking, "Hope I'm playing the right stuff for them or whatever." But yeah, look at it was a nice experience, and sure, hopefully we'll get back to it when things come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, well, I suppose other than that, I suppose big things for you that had happened pre-COVID was Nathan Carter's tour and Derek Ryan's tour.
Yeah, yeah, they were. That was look. It was really. It was such an amazing. The two of them were just great tours to get, and it's just the publicity and meeting so many new people. But yeah, the first I think I done his Scottish tour and his Christmas, two of his Christmas tours, and the Scottish tour, of course, we're on the tour bus and everything, and look at the absolutely the best to crack. And there was plenty of dry shampoo used, let me tell you, trying to get ready. And
that was
anyway,
Nathan, not even you. I know.
But it was really good crack. And Derek's tour, where did we do Derek? Derek's tour was his 10 tour all around Ireland. So again, it was great. The lads on the band were just absolutely, because when you're the only girl, you're thinking, oh God, how am I going to manage this now with all the lads? But you know what? The sneering and the whole lot, you just have to fall in with it and give as good as you get.
Mhm.
But it was a great, again, it was just so many. God look that I've never played to as many people as that. So that was really, really great to get.
Yeah. Would you say that like tours like them two would be kind of the highlights so far of your career? Have you anything that kind of sticks out, or is that them?
Yeah, definitely them. And I suppose when I was on Opry Le Daniel,
Oh, yes.
I mean, to get to sing with Daniel is always, at the end of the day, he's one of the tops, and he probably is, if not one of the tops in Ireland. And again, just mum and dad always listened to him down through the years. And yeah, that was really, really nice. And he was so friendly and just such a lovely fella. And the same as well with Nathan and Derek. You couldn't meet nicer. Like, they were just the best to go on tour with.
Mhm. That's good. No, because I mean that's hard. Obviously, I know I've gone off on tour with a gang of boys before to Germany. So I know what it's like. There was one girl there as well. But she was they were a couple. So then it was kind of me and the other lads.
Okay.
So I know what it's like. It's good crack, but it can be not hard, but it's the crack. You have to keep up with the jokes and the crack and the
Yeah, that's it. Like, you wouldn't want to be taking them serious around them,
no.
because, but but that's the way. As I said, just give as good as you get, and oh Lord, we really did have the best to crack, which it really was very good, and
Yeah.
I'm missing them terribly for
I
sure. Anyway,
I know, absolutely. Thank God for the social media. We can keep an eye on each other. Now I
exactly.
know I know while we were saying there about, you wouldn't want to be too sensitive there, or, when you're with the gang of lads. I suppose moving on from that sort of topic, one thing which I was shocked to hear, but that came up in another podcast, was singers getting bullied or trolled on online. And I'm wondering, is that something that you've come across? Because I spoke about it with in another episode, and I was shocked. I was, you hear about it with the likes of So Sue Me, or
Yeah.
the bloggers that have 100,000 followers and that kind of thing. But I was shocked to hear that it's actually happening in the Irish country music scene.
Mm. That's something. Thankfully, I haven't come across that with myself, but yeah, I have heard of a few people that it has affected, and like, that must be terrible. I mean, that's not good, like, for anybody's mental health and whatever, But thankfully for me, it hasn't been something that I have come across, and I hope to God I don't have to. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it must be very tough for the people that it did affect.
Yeah, no, I just said I'd bring it up because, as I've said on every episode, I don't want this to be a typical interview. I want to find out, a little
Yeah.
bit more and delve in and find out more about the singers and discuss the reality of it. Of course, it's all glitz and glam and the awards, which you've got a lot of. You've got a serious amount of awards, which I'm sure you're thrilled about. Like there's an actual list of them all. But of course that's brilliant, and the gigging and but it is hard work. There's no joke about it, and the late nights, and like you said, getting home late, and you'd have to be going to work the next morning, and there is a hard. It's not negative. It's not the word I'm looking for, but there is, there's a hard side to it. And as I said, I was shocked to hear that bullying can be a part of it. Now, thankfully, as you said, you haven't got any of that, but you have heard, so that kind of, it's there, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, thankfully, as I say, but it's definitely not, Sandra. Like it's not an easy business, but I think look at anything in life that you want. Look at you have to work hard for it. It doesn't just land right in front of you. You have to work for whatever you want. I suppose. Look at for me, I think you see, I was doing a lot of social dancing as well before last March, and so that's a lot different to when I'm doing a spot at a concert or whatever. When I'm doing a social dance, I'm loading up the van and putting in the gear, setting up the gear, and that's hard. There's no point saying anything else.
Yeah,
it is hard.
And you'll have men there watching you set it up.
There has been a few times, yeah. And then to be fair, there is people that say, oh, I'll bring in, I'll help you with this, that. Now look, don't get me wrong, I've been very lucky. My mommy or daddy would always, if I was doing kind of a one-piece gig like that, daddy would probably always come with me, but he couldn't be there all the time either because they were working in the pub, so and anyway, I don't mind. Look, you do what you have to do. You get in and you drive and you set up the gear, go and do your gig, but there's a lot to be done before you actually go and do your gig.
Yeah.
There might be 3 hours travel, then get set up, and then play your 2 hours, and then you have to travel home. I mean, that isn't easy, but look at that's part of it. We knew we were signing up for that when we went into it. It isn't all the glam of just going out on the stage for that, let it be a half hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. There is a lot behind the scenes,
And there's a lot of free gigs as well at the start.
There is, but look at sure.
You work your way up.
And you do. You have to work your way up. And thankfully, like I was lucky enough, like, to be so busy. But I think a lot of that was because I was doing kind of a bit of everything. I was doing concerts, I was doing the social dance, and I was doing my own little gigs. So that's probably how I was out so many nights a week, But I was definitely missing my sleep at that time anyway.
Have you any tips for how to stay awake when you're doing the drives home? Have you, like, this is one thing I'm going to start asking all the artists, because I know, because I keep saying it on the podcast, but I can relate to a lot of what the singers do, because I suppose with me being a performer in terms of the Irish dancing and that kind of thing, there would be a lot of late gigs. And then as well as that, if I'm ever presenting, like I used to present the Jamboree in Finchon and that kind of thing, that'd be a late night home. And as well as that, when we go dancing to see the likes of yourself, that'll be another late night. So what do you find how do you stay awake on the way home? Have you a few tips?
I don't actually myself, but I've often heard people saying that eating an apple, actually. An apple. Yeah, now I haven't done it myself. It's just I have heard people saying I wouldn't be a great one for the fruit anyway.
That's a new one. Oh, yeah. That's an interesting one for the books. Never heard that before.
Yeah. I don't know, I just let down the window a tiny bit, but then Mammy would always say, will you please pull in if you're feeling tired? And you're not going to pull in the side of the road at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Like.
I would be so nervous. I'd try and find a town. If I had to, I'd try and find a petrol station or town, or else my mum will always say, will you ring me if you're falling asleep?
Well, that's it. And actually, Sandra, that's one of the things, actually. Yeah, the phone calls on the way, there'll be somebody else traveling from some other end of the country, and you're going to get a call from them. So that definitely does keep you awake. But I remember going into that garage there, the 24 one in Roscommon town. Oh Lord, I was like,
that's a good one.
But because it was loads of lights there and everything, it was grand. But definitely the phone calls keep you awake. Or I just, I'd always have the window down a tiny little bit.
My it's not it works. It's not my favorite. I'd have to do an owl slap That's what I do. Slap either side and a bit of a shake, and
Yeah.
that has to do the job. But there's nothing better than coming in to the town or the village or the town before, so you know that you're nearly there. You're fine then. But you're located fairly centrally, which is great for gigs, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, it is. Fermanagh is just right in the centre of the country, so it's great. It is very central, and but I find a lot of my gigs kind of do be up, as I just say, when I go out of here, I'm kind of turning left a lot of the time, so I'm kind of going Roscommon, Sligo, Donegal, that direction. A lot of my gigs kind of seem to be up that direction, you know. But so Roscommon, the petrol station there would have been a common one to pull in. All right.
There you go. That's the local. That's the one. But how far would you be from Roscommon town then?
About 45 minutes, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, so you have a good distance home then.
Well, but it does break it. You know, it's not that there's a whole lot, like it's not just 2 hours left or whatever, but still a few minutes can make a difference, you know.
Yeah. And I suppose one thing that we can definitely notice is we're not buying petrol as much these days.
Oh, stop, my car doesn't be moved. It's just
it lasts ages. I love how long the petrol has lasted these days. It's just could last a few weeks. It's great.
Yeah, because oh, stop it. It's getting such a break now. It really is. It was on the road so often. I just know what's happening.
And you've a van, did you say, or have you a
Daddy's van when I'm sure, look at only for Daddy. Yeah, and then I bring the car then if I was kind of doing my spots. I don't really put the gear into that. But no, I have Daddy's van when I need the gear, as I do say.
You're sorted, so you've all sides covered.
All sides covered is right.
It's been so good to have a chat though, and to catch up. As I had said, I had met you once, Joe. I'll tell the story about the tan because I think it's too funny. Before I started recording this podcast, just myself and Olivia were just chatting, just getting ourselves organized, and I just said, "Do you remember meeting me before?" And she would say, "Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know." And I said, "Well, whenever I put on tan, I think of you," which sounds crazy, but basically the scale is. We were outside Barcelona, wasn't it?
That's for Robert
Mazel's trip and Boogie on the Brava, isn't that it?
That's it.
Costa Brava. And I was going down in the lift, and Olivia comes into the lift, and hello, and how are you? And Olivia asked, "What tan is that, Siobhan?" And I said, "Oh, well, that's so Sumi's tan." I said, "It's new. I just got it." And Olivia said, "That's lovely." And since then, 2 years ago, whenever I take out my So Sumi bottle, I think of Olivia. Now, did you ever hear such a random story about tan? So there you go.
That is random. Well, do you know what? I don't know, did I ever buy the So Sumi tan, because I'll still, lastminute.com, I'll do the end of the ankle or something with Sally Hansen. It just does the job.
Absolutely. That's the way to go. So I obviously didn't recommend it well enough when you didn't go out and buy it.
No, I wouldn't say that. It was gorgeous on you.
And the other time that I met you, or that I saw you perform, well, I've seen you perform a few times, but the one that sticks out, and I know especially that means more, is it was at my old hometown Garchine Festival. I'm going to say 4 years ago, maybe 3, and maybe it was the first one. Was it the first one? And I know there was an afternoon dance for the kids, and it was Jiving Juniors, because Jiving Juniors, Jiving Juniors is my dance school, but I hold the classes in Garchine, so we had an afternoon dance, and Olivia was playing at it, and sure, the kids only had a ball, and sure, they were dancing away, and I think there's a few photos somewhere as well. Was there a dancing competition that day as well, or am I raving?
There was a dancing competition.
Yes.
There was. Yeah.
So that was it, with the kids dancing competition. I think it was there in adults. All right, it's that long ago, but
yeah, fair play to you. I remember Lord, you're doing great work with the kiddies. Fair play to you. It's lovely to see them jiving. It really is.
I love it. I love it, and it's that's the future of it all. Like, we're all going to keep growing up, and sure, I suppose I love to be even teaching them about the likes of Big Tom and Declan Ernie and T.R. Dallas. It's all good and well them knowing about the younger gang, and the younger singers, but I feel it's so important for them to know about the likes of them older singers, because they brought the country music here and brought it to the level that it's at now. So I'm always trying we'd be dancing away, but then I had to get all moonshore on them, and I had to start making them do quizzes, and I had to have them doing matching games where they have to match the name of the artist to the photo. And well, I was a primary school teacher, so that does filter in So by God, they know their singers.
Oh, well,
Might know
fair
this.
play to you.
Oh, the phone is
And
ringing. I
it's
better mute
lovely.
that.
It's lovely to it's fair play to you as well for, you know, kind of telling them about the older singers, because they paved the path for us at the end of the day. Only for them, you know, that's who we all grew up listening to, you know,
Yeah.
the likes of Big Tom and the whole lot. So
Who would have, I know you were obviously involved in the trad side, but is that who you would have been kind of listening to primarily, or was there an American influence as well, or was it just the Irish influence?
well, do you know what? There was so many types of music played in this house. It was like Daddy would be big into his music. He absolutely, Lord, he comes in here at night, you can the van there, and you'd hear the music blaring. Like he's, you know, he just loves his music. So he loved, you know, the Clancy brothers. You know, there was loads of folk stuff played here. Philomena Begley, Margot, Susan McCann, Louise Morrissey, all the Irish country singers. You know, actually, I was doing a clear out not too long ago, and I came across the old tapes, the old cassette tapes, and there was so many of them. So there was loads of genres here. And that's, you know, I always did say, all right, when I always wanted to sing, you know, the stage and the bright lights, and I did always want that, but I never thought that I would. I just probably never had the confidence to do it, you know. But no, there was so many genres here, and then sure I was taken around, as I said, to so many blahs since I was a little one, and couldn't escape it, as I just say.
You hadn't a
You know.
choice, but sure, you were probably happy with the choice that was being made for you. You didn't mind anyway.
No, I didn't mind. I absolutely loved it. Now, there was a time, all right, you know, when you come to your teenage years and you're playing an accordion and your friends in school are not playing it, I I did kind of come to a time. I was like, no, I don't want to go to my lessons, and I was making up that I had a sore finger. I remember here one evening I said, I'm not going to my lessons, but you know, I went back to it, and thank God I did. But I did definitely go through a patch where, you know, people, it's not that people would be, your friends would be laughing at, well, they kind of would, because it wasn't the thing, you know. I wouldn't say it really bullied, like, but it just wasn't the thing. They weren't going, they were going to their discos, and I was probably going to a Kelly band practice, you know. But I'm so glad that I kept it up. I really am.
Yeah, you're inspiring me now to get back playing, because I played for years as well, but and in college I would, because I done music and dance in college, and then I suppose I kind of just let it fall by the wayside, and the banjo was sold, and that was the end of that. And you know, I probably should get back. I live in an estate now though, and I don't know how kindly they would take to the tin whistle, because tin whistle and banjo would be my main two, but I don't know how they'd feel. I heard a child during lockdown one week, and they were out in the back garden with the whistle. I didn't mind. Now there was no tune. It was just blowing away. There was no tune, and I didn't care. I thought it was just lovely to hear a child out playing a whistle. But God, I'd say not everyone in the estate was too happy about the whistle being blown out in the back garden.
But I know, but you're lucky, we all have to start somewhere, I suppose, isn't that
Well,
it?
that's it.
But
Absolutely.
no, you should, now that you have, well, I know you're still working away, you're doing great work with your Zoom classes for the kids and the jiving and everything. But yeah, you should take it back. But you have it sold now. You have your banjo sold.
I've the banjo sold, but I have a few tin whistles lying around. So
Well.
a tune a day or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I've had a great chat with you, Olivia. Thank you so much for giving us some fun and some news and just having the general chats. It's been lovely.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Sandra, and the best of luck with all your podcasts. Fair play to you, and thanks again for having me.
Thank you. And just quickly, where can people find you on social media? I know you're on most of the platforms.
Yeah, well, as I just say, I do really only say this in interviews. Twitter, I haven't a clue. I don't know when I last went into it on my phone. The app is probably even gone. I don't know. But anyway, they can get me on Facebook and the Olivia Douglas on Facebook and Instagram, and I have a website then, www.oliviadouglasmusic.com.
Lovely. And you can probably buy your albums, your previous albums on the website, can you? Or
yeah, the two albums are there. Yeah.
There you go. So everyone go and check out the social medias and the website. And thank you all again for listening to another episode. We're on episode 8 now. So thanks a million for tuning in. And Olivia, thank you so much again. It's been a joy to have you and to have the chats. And we'll talk to you soon, please God.
Thank you so much. I'll have to go and get me Sosumi tan now. I'll have it for the next gig.
Absolutely. You'll be all sorted. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Sandra. Thank you.